Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mark. This is MacGyver's Garage, and right now I am headed down to Norman, Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma. My son goes to school down there, and he's got some issues going on with his Audi TT. So I'm headed down there to help him out with it a little bit. I apologize if I sound weird or my mouth looks weird. I had a little bit of dental work done just a little while ago, and my mouth is still numb, so feels weird. But yeah, so we're heading down there, and what's going on is he had a dead battery, so I had him get it checked out, and it is the alternator. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get to, but it's a hell of a lot better doing it ourselves than to have the dealership do it or another shop, because we're going to spend quite a bit of money, because the way that they will do it is removing the entire front bumper, the radiator, and a whole bunch of other stuff to get to it. Whereas if you jack it up and get underneath, you can remove a few pieces, air conditioning pieces, and actually get it out through the bottom a whole lot easier. But that's not the way that they would do it at the shop. So what we're gonna do is go down, get him a trickle charger, get his battery charged up, give him a jump box, and all the tools so that he can remove his battery, take it up into his room, get it charged so it's as full as possible, and then drive back up to my house so that he can get it up there and we can work on it on Friday. So today's Wednesday, we're gonna work on it on Friday. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. Heading down there, get this taken care of, get him set up so he can come home. So let's go. Let's do this. So the battery is under here. Looks like a spare tire, but it's not. Got the battery tender up there. Okay, so it's now Thursday, and I just finished up a meeting, and now I've jumped in the Civic, and I'm driving back down to Norman, and I'm gonna swap out the Civic, let my son have the Civic, and I'm gonna drive his TT back to the house. Now, it's about a 45-mile drive, takes a little over an hour, and he's got no alternator. So what we did was we hooked up the battery, charged it up, and my wife wasn't really too enthused about him driving it and possibly getting stranded on the side of the road, so I'm gonna do it. And I've got that jump box, so it gives me a little bit of extra cushion in case it does die. We charged it up. It's a relatively new battery. It's only about 1.5 years old. So I don't anticipate there's going to be any issue there. Should be okay. So that's what we're going to do. So heading down there right now, and we'll see. That was sketch. That dude had a whole bunch, I don't know if you can see it, there was a whole bunch of shit in the back of that car, and it was about to fall out. And a piece of plywood to the windshield wouldn't have been good. All right, let's see if we make it down there now. Back in the TT and heading back to the house. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know, you know, we charged this battery. It was showing that it had a full charge, but it still wasn't enough to start the car. So that's not encouraging. But it is running, did use the jump box, got it started, and now we're just gonna see. Unfortunately, there was a fair amount of traffic, which is not what I wanted to hear, was not what I wanted to see. So we'll see how that works out. Man, this could be fun, could be interesting. Let's see. All right, so I've got the windows down, air conditioning's off, all electronics are off, and we're trying to conserve as much battery power as possible. Well, I'm about a half mile from the house, and the car looks like it's gonna make it. You know, it's been good. I hit some traffic and kind of got worried about it, but all worked out. So we'll get this thing home, and yeah, tomorrow we'll be working on it. Okay, so I've got the TT pulled into the garage, got the other cars outside right now. And what I'm gonna do is jack it up. Got the jack stands. We're gonna get it put up on the jack stand so that we can get underneath it, because that's how we're gonna pull it out. If you look in here, there is not much room down in here, but right down there is the alternator. You can't even see it based on this view, but almost impossible to get to. So we're gonna go underneath. There's some skid plates. We're gonna pull those off. Some other access panels get pulled off and should give us access to it. Okay, so now that we've got it up on the jack stands, you can see I've got it pretty good off the ground. We can come down here and actually see what we're talking about here. So all that needs to come off. So all these pieces here come off, and we should be able to get up right in there to get to it. Now the way that the dealership actually does it is the entire front clip has to come off. The bumper comes off, radiator comes out, a whole bunch of other stuff comes off, some support pieces have to come off, and it's a long process. It's a couple days really for them to do it. So we're gonna show that it can be done a lot quicker. All right, so I'm gonna admit, I did not want things to have to go this route with the TT. Got underneath there, and there are triple square bolts, and I don't have triple square bits. I could probably go get some, but I don't know what else I'm gonna run into. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna pull the car back in. It's sitting over here. It's got the charger on it. Pull it back in, and we're gonna get the entire front end pulled off of it. So I'm gonna pull the Supra out. We'll pull my wife's Highlander out. Look at those pink wheels. And we're gonna get the TT in here and get it going. Don't worry about the fact that I just ripped those out. I've got this whole pack of all new ones that we'll just go ahead and replace. I keep these on hand because they're really handy if you're doing any work. All right, so after a brief intermission, I had my air hose actually blow out on me. So went and bought new air hose, new fittings, got it all set up. Eventually, maybe we'll get to this. All right, I'm gonna get the wheels off. So rather than actually disconnecting everything and pulling the radiator out, draining it, what I'm gonna do is actually just pull it away. You've got the alternator right here. So as long as I can get to the bolts and get the, so I'll be able to get the belt loose. I can get it out down through here. It's gonna be a little bit tight, but I definitely can pull this out far enough that I can get it out without having to disconnect everything, drain it, and pull it completely apart. I think that that's gonna be the easiest way to do it. So I've got everything disconnected. Let's see, you can see here, there's the plug. I've got that disconnected. I've got the other bolt disconnected off the back. I've got the top bolt disconnected, but the bottom one is hidden behind the tensioner arm. And so we've actually got to take the tension off of here, get the belt off, and then probably remove the tensioner as well. In order to do that, what you need is, you see this threaded hole right here. Even though there's a bolt on here, you can't, like most cars, you can actually get a wrench on there and take the tension off. For whatever reason, it doesn't really work on this one. So you have to actually take a bolt. It's a M8 by 1.25, and you need it about 50 millimeters long to actually push that to take the tension off of the belt so you can get it off. You can see everything's really tight in here, but that's what you need to do in order to get that off of there. So right now I'm gonna send my son to go get that bolt while I continue to just clean everything up here. All right, so you got a bolt, and so you just put it in here, screw it in, and just with a screwdriver I was able to take the tension off. Now you can see I'm loosening all the bolts, and I'm gonna take this tensioner completely off of there. I've already got the serpentine belt off of the alternator, and it's just kind of hanging on the idler arm right there, so that we can then get it off the tensioner, get that out, get to the second bolt for the alternator, and then drop the alternator out. Everything else is already disconnected on there. So in the next 5 minutes, we should have it out. So I said I'd have it out in about 5 minutes. That was about 45 minutes ago. This thing, you see it was right here. Here it is, but what happens is these sleeves right here get pulled in when you tighten the bolt. And so they sandwich it in the bracket really, really hard. And so you've got to try and get these back through. I ended up hitting it with some oil, lubricating oil, to try and break it up. But now it's time to get the new one prepped and in. New alternator is in. You can see the piece that I was talking about right here, this sleeve. You can see the shiny silver sleeve right there. And so it actually comes stuck out about where my finger is. But then as you tighten the bolt, it gets pulled in and sandwiches it there and takes up that slack that's right there. So it's in there nice and tight. Got all the connections wired up. Next is getting the belts back on, getting the tensioner on. Okay, tensioner's back on. I've got the belt routed back around everything. Looks like it's on all the pulleys the way that it needs to be. I need to get a good look at the back one, but from here it looks like everything's on there the way that it needs to be. And so you can see it's loose right now, so we'll back this off. Body gaps there aren't exactly what they need to be. We'll back through. At some point, we're going to try and fix a couple other things, and we'll adjust the body lines when we do that. Looks like it's fixed. All right, so Justin took it out for a drive. Everything seems to be working right. Everything seems to be okay at this point. So I'll let him take it back to school, and hopefully everything continues to be okay. I did get a warning on my charger that the battery may be bad, but it seems to be charging. When I hooked up the checker, the jump box, it has a couple of different diagnostics that it does. It said the battery was good, it said the alternator was good, so we're gonna roll with it and see what happens. If he has a problem, then it's probably the battery, and he'll go get a new battery. So everything's good, all put back together. Like I said, there's a couple of body line issues. You know, right here, the gap there is a little better, or is a little different than it is on the other side. So we're gonna tweak that. We do have some light issues that we were gonna work on. Probably swap these out to aftermarket ones. And so when we do that, it'll fix that. I mean, all in all, it's not bad. Everything looks pretty good right now. So that's that. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, any comments, leave them down below, and we'll keep doing videos. So appreciate it, guys. If you haven't done so before, go hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton, costs you absolutely nothing. Appreciate it, guys. See ya.